Hi guys, my name is Zin and this is Maybe Bonsai. Today's video, I'm just going to give you an update on most of the trees that I have so far and how they're doing during the winter. But before that, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to everyone, and I hope you stay healthy, safe, and prosperous in the next year, or I guess this year in 2023. So anyway, let's get to the trees. So today is a very dark and gloomy day. It is actually raining outside. It's temperature-wise, it's pretty high, and we're gonna get into more than 10 degrees this week, which is very abnormal for January. So I actually moved a couple of trees outside because of the temperatures being too high. Anyway, I'll start with the $50 bonsai challenge tree, which is the sensitive plant. It's actually growing quite well by the window here. There's actually shoots even on the bottom of the tree. It's a bit skinny right now and the pot is small, so it's growing, I would say, more or less or very slowly. And I think the top here has kind of died off, but there's branches on the side, which is fine. So yeah, it's growing quite well. I'm not going to touch this, probably not in the winter. Most likely I will do something about it in the spring before it gets really hot, and you know, I can prune it back and then let the weather take care of the tree growing. Beside it is the what is it, willow leaf ficus, which dropped most of its leaves here, and it's gonna stay dormant for the entire winter, I think. This thing last year, it just doesn't grow indoors. I think it's probably because of the lighting. Because of the year, because once we get to spring and I took this outside, it had tons of buds, but they wouldn't pop indoors. And as soon as I took it outside, it basically exploded with growth. So I think that's the same thing's gonna happen here. You know, it's just gonna stay dormant and not really grow because of the lack of the sun. So here we have the Natal plum. I've been watering this every day. It's growing quite a bit. Actually, this is right here. This is all new growth up here as well. I do have to prune it back soon, but it grows quite slow because the pot is slow. It's small. So yeah, leaving it for now. This is a little ivy that I got. It's like a dwarf cultivar of some kind of ivy. It's really tiny leaves. I think it's kind of fun. So I'm just growing it here for now. Let's turn it a bit. But yeah, it's growing quite a bit. It's easy to grow, just like most ivies, I would say. And then here is the hibiscus that I pruned, I think, several weeks back, maybe a month, more than a month now. But it's put on a lot of new leaves, as you can see, which is great. Because the sun only comes from one direction, you know, all the leaves are kind of facing that way. What I do is I usually spin the tree a bit every now and then. So let's see if I can spin this without breaking something. Move that back. So yeah, I will do something like that so the leaves will kind of, you know, flatten out a bit more. But that's what I have to do to keep the growth kind of even. Here is the big jade we pruned back at Nigel's place. So you can see the tip is starting to bud out, which is good. The top is kind of dying back, which, you know, not going to be a problem there. There's actually a little shoot here as well, but looking at the direction of it, it's probably not going to be usable, is what I'm guessing. Next up, we have the fire and ice. So yeah, I confirmed it's a fire and ice. It's not a snow queen. It's grown quite a bit. You know, I think the root pruning, it didn't really skip a beat at all, and it is growing downwards as well. You know, you can see the new growth here, but probably not as vigorous as the top. The top has grown quite a bit since we pruned it. So, but that's okay. I mean, as long as the bottom is growing, I'm happy. You know, I'm getting buds basically on every cut point. So it was I guess you can call it a successful pruning. So yeah, looking good. This is the ficus benjamina that we put in the ground. It is growing quite well in this half and half. It's like half bonsai soil. There's some regular soil at the top, but it's getting growth everywhere. I'm probably not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it grow a bit, because I want this to get big, you know, fast. So that's the plan for that. What else? This is the ivy from Nigel's place. It's just, you know, it's trying to grow. Just turn it around here. It's putting on a lot of growth, but I haven't really pruned this at all. I'm just letting it grow right now. It's just, you know, going wild. And this is a hardy ivy, because he has it outside all the time. I just moved it inside because I wanted to keep growing, and it is growing. So okay, so on the table, this is the crown of thorns forest. It is doing well. I am seeing a little bit of new growth, but it hasn't really taken off yet, and I think it might take a little bit of time because of the repot. But you know, it's growing. Again, things are kind of facing one direction because of where the window is. And then my bougainvillea here, it's growing, but not really growing that well because of the lighting indoors. But you know, it's putting on a lot of new leaves. They're just kind of really soft, you know, they're not really firm when you touch them because I think it's a lack of sun. But you know, again, I just need this to make it through the winter, and so then once we bring it outside in the spring, it'll be fine. And then here, this little ficus here is doing what I wanted to do. You know, this is the side shoot that I wired, so now it's becoming a side shoot instead of the leader. That was the leader, and this now is the new leader. It's putting on some new growth. That reminds me, I probably have to remove the wire now, because I'm pretty sure the shape is set and I don't want this to start biting. Here, this is my Schefflera, or dwarf Schefflera. It's doing well, you know. These guys never had issues indoors. No matter if you have low lighting or almost no lighting, it'll still grow nicely. This is the small leaf, or too little maybe, ficus. I wired it, and it had put on new growth, but just not that much. I think it's just trying to recover from the wiring still. But you know, plus the lighting isn't the best here, so hopefully it'll start going once we get better light in the spring. And this is the other variegated Schefflera, which I had this by the window, and it's putting on a lot of these big leaves, but I moved it here because I have more other stuff at the window. There's just not a lot of room here. And then this is the Ficus benjamina variegated. So I have pulled it down on the side. So if you look at it from the side, it's no longer a kind of flat base here. It's hard to see, I know. But yeah, so everything's kind of fanning out. I think that looks much better. And thanks for everyone who contributed in the comment section. Here, this is the cutting of a dwarf jade, or Portia caryophyra, and it's going, you know, it's taking off, just growing. I'm not really touching it right now. I'm just gonna let it grow. And you know, it's just another cutting of an ivy, which is getting actually decent woody trunk now, so that's good. And here in the corner already inside here is the jade cutting that we had from the big jade on the other side. I just planted this, and it looks like it's getting new growth here, right? So I know it hasn't rooted because I just put this in, I guess a couple of days after I visited Nigel. And I've been watering it every few days when everything's dry, and you know, it's fine. So hopefully it's gonna root. It may have rooted now, but maybe just a tiny bit of roots, but I haven't checked. But I'm just gonna leave it here until the summer, and you know, probably let it go over the summer, and then eventually I'll repot it. And then I think this side, this part here, I may have to take out, just cut it, maybe do another cutting from it. But yeah, that's the plan for that. So in the tank here, I just watered it. I have my, just 1 second here, it's another dwarf jade. This one has been growing better because it's in the tank and it gets light quite close to the tree. So it's putting on quite a bit of growth. And I could take it back a bit if I wanted to. So yeah, that's looking pretty good, I think. Let me put this back. So beside that is the Brazilian rain tree. This tree is it's quite big actually. I mean, the leaves are down right now, and you can't really tell how big it is, but it's from here like this, about that wide, going all the way to the edge of the tank, and both sides are kind of hitting the glass. So I'm kind of running out of room here. You know, I'm hesitant to prune this tree because I wanted to grow more, but it's getting to the point where I think I have to take it back, or else it may not grow that well. You know, once it hits the glass, I don't really know. And then the top of the tree, it's hitting the light, so some of the leaves are getting burnt by the light. I think just the heat of the light. So yeah, it's getting quite large. I don't want to bring it out because the lighting isn't that good out. So, you know, plus it's huge. So if I brought it out, I don't even know if I have enough room for it. So yeah. And then this is the Crasula, what's it called? Crasula sarcalis, I think. So yeah, this never had a problem growing. You know, it's coming up, but with the lighting, it just the growth isn't that good. But that's okay. I just need this to, you know, stay alive in the winter, and then I'll just prune it back and then let it grow outside. It will be much better growth. I put this tinfoil on the other side, you know, because it will reflect light, but it doesn't look like it's doing that good of a job, so that's okay. Anyway, that's the update on this room. Let me take you to the garage and show you what's going on there. Okay, so we're in the garage. It's kind of packed around this area. I brought all my stuff in now. That's the Kingsville boxwood, lavender. That's some weed that I picked up in the front yard. I don't know if that's going to survive of the winter, but we'll see. This is just the juniper that I had from before, which needs some work. Here is the downy willow. I think it's doing okay. You know, I brought these in. Like this one's quite hardy. A lot of the stuff here is quite hardy, but I brought them in because it was a storm and it was going down over -10. So I thought I brought them in, but now the weather has all changed. It's like plus every day for at least a week and a half now, and it's going to go down again next week. So I don't know. I don't want to bring that back out again and bring it back in, so they're just going to stay in here. Here is the maypost, the Japanese maypost. I remove most of the leaves debris from the soil surface to prevent molding. Thanks for one of the commenters. I don't remember who it was, but somebody did mention it. And then these are all the other Japanese mayposts. They're just staying dormant, which is good. Down here, this is the trident maple that I dug up from the ground. I just dug it up. I didn't do any root pruning or anything like that. I basically try to preserve as much root as possible, and I just put it in the pot here. And then I think once spring comes, I'm going to repot this into a bonsai pot. It should be okay because I did not disturb the roots. And that's the I forgot what it's called. It was a cedar, some kind of a dwarf cedar. One of my pines. That's the blue star juniper, which is still in recovery phase. It's going to be in recovery for a while. That's a larch. In here are my Japanese maple seedlings. I haven't watered it because I don't want stuff to sprout. It's too warm right now. So, and you can't leave this outside, because if you leave it outside, squirrels or whatever, it's going to take all the dug everything up, and you know, always for naught. So here I just have some other Japanese maples. This is a, what do you call it? I don't remember the name, but it's a maple. It's a very hardy maple, but I just don't remember what the name was. Amber maple, that's what it was. That's right. So here, this is the winter jasmine, and it's still flowering. I have to water it because it's flowering. You know, it's we're in January now, so that's pretty cool. I really thought this would be dormant now, but it's not. So anyway, whatever. Some of the other Japanese maples all over the place. That's an oak. That's an oak from Nigel. Let's see, Korean maples, two in the back, one red, one yellow, the fall colors. And then I brought this guy in. This is just a regular cedar forest that I dug up somewhere. It's like random arrangement right now. So here is the pomegranate that we pruned at Nigel's place. Back there is the silk tree, Japanese maple, my red maple or sugar maple. This here is the I want to say it's a juniper, I think, or a cedar or something. I don't remember, but we did the wiring in the summer sometime or fall. And here are the experiments. I really don't know what's going on with them because the heat mat is on, and I've been watering them almost every day. It's in pure pumice. I don't really know what to expect from these because I'm not sure if they're supposed to start budding out or what, because they're cuttings. So we'll see what happens if they succeed or not. I guess we'll have to wait till the spring. But this blanket, it doesn't feel that hot, but I put a thermometer on there. It's actually about 20 degrees, which is to my surprise. So anyway, we'll see what happens. If this doesn't work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the tourniquet thing just like we did in the spring and summer, and then except the only difference, I'm not going to take the cutting. I'm going to leave it on there, and the year after I'm going to do an air layer, which I think shall work really well because of the supercharged tourniquet method. So that is all the stuff that I have. One of my larches is outside right now because it's warm, so I brought it out. So yeah, so that's all the stuff that I have, and so far everything's been doing well in the garage. I've been keeping an eye on the dryness of the soil. It actually doesn't dry up that fast. As a matter of fact, this Japanese maple tray, I've only watered it once since I brought it in, and it's been more than a month that this has been inside. So they don't need to water that often, but I do check every other day just to make sure that we're still good. So yeah, so that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and again, Happy New Year.